When Cherry Blossoms Whisper. Volume 1, The First Petal. Chapter 1, The Boy Who Sketched Silence. Haruto Soma had always found solace in silence. While most of his classmates flooded the school courtyard with laughter and chatter, he preferred the quiet hum of the world around him, the gentle rustle of leaves, the faint buzz of distant conversations, and the occasional call of a bird from the school's lone cherry tree. Perched on the grass beneath the tree's sprawling branches, Haruto often found himself sketching, his pencil moving with a rhythm as steady and unhurried as his thoughts. The world blurred around him, reduced to lines and shadows. He had always been a quiet boy, one who observed more than he participated, who listened rather than spoke. His sketchbook was his safe haven, a space where he could capture the essence of moments without the need for words. Today, like every other day, Haruto settled beneath the cherry tree, the delicate pink petals scattered on the ground like confetti. He opened his sketchbook to a fresh page and began to sketch the scene before him, the low-hanging branches, the breeze that tugged at the edges of the petals, and the sky that was slowly fading from blue to amber as the afternoon wore on. It was perfect. It was quiet. And then she interrupted him. A shadow passed over his sketchbook and Haruto's pencil stilled midline. He glanced up, startled by the presence of a girl standing in front of him, tall, with striking, almost ethereal features framed by a cascade of black hair. Her gaze was fixed on him, piercing through the layers of quiet that he had so carefully cultivated. "Sitting here alone?" she asked, her voice cool yet tinged with something that Haruto couldn't quite place. Her expression was unreadable, like a stone carved into the shape of a person. Haruto blinked, slightly caught off guard. I prefer it this way." She tilted her head, scrutinizing him as though trying to decode a puzzle. "Huh. You're Haruto Soma, right? The one who always has his nose buried in a sketchbook." He nodded, wondering why she seemed so interested in him. He wasn't exactly someone who attracted attention. Then again, her own demeanor was a puzzle in itself, detached, almost icy, yet undeniably captivating. "I'm Sakura Aizawa," she said, her tone flat as if she were stating a simple fact, not introducing herself. "I'm the new transfer student." Haruto nodded again, his fingers tightening around his pencil. He didn't know much about Sakura Aizawa except for the rumors that had been circulating since she arrived. Cold, aloof, distant, none of it particularly appealed to him. In fact, he deliberately avoided paying attention to her. People like her didn't need his company, and people like him weren't meant to be noticed. "Are you going to stare at me all day, or are you going to offer me a seat?" she asked, her voice edged with impatience. Haruto blinked again, still processing. The last thing he wanted was to engage in conversation, but it seemed like she wasn't giving him much of a choice. With a soft exhale, he gestured to the empty space beside him. "You can sit if you want." Sakura didn't move at first, her gaze lingering on him with an unreadable expression. Then, with a faint shrug, she lowered herself to the grass beside him, not quite close enough to invade his space, but near enough that he could feel the faint heat of her presence. She didn't speak for a while, and Haruto returned to his sketchbook, relieved by the return of silence. But then she broke the stillness once more. "So, why do you hide behind that thing?" Her voice was sharp, like a sudden breeze cutting through the warmth of the afternoon. Haruto stiffened, his pencil freezing mid-motion. He glanced up at her, his brow furrowing in confusion. "What do you mean?" "Your sketchbook," she said, pointing at the open pages with a lazy hand. "It's all you ever seem to care about. Don't you get tired of always hiding behind it?" Haruto's fingers curled into the edges of his sketchbook, a defensive impulse. He didn't need to explain himself to her. But for some reason, her question gnawed him. "I don't hide," he said, his voice quieter than he meant it to be. "I just don't like getting in the way." Sakura was silent for a long time, her eyes narrowing slightly as if considering something. Then, without a word, she leaned back against the tree, folding her arms and staring up at the sky. "You're not as interesting as I thought," she said, her tone softening, almost teasing. "But I'll give you credit for finding a quiet spot in this chaos. I thought I was the only one who liked being alone." Haruto didn't know how to respond to that. Instead, he simply looked back at his sketchbook, letting the silence settle between them again. As the sun dipped lower, casting a golden glow across the courtyard, Haruto couldn't help but wonder why this girl, this stranger, had somehow managed to shatter the quiet he'd so carefully built around himself. And for the first time in a long time, he found himself wondering if he even wanted it back. Thanks for watching our video. If you find this video interesting, then please subscribe our YouTube channel. If you're watching this video from TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram, then follow our page for more contents like this.